Hi, I'm Chris, and in this video we're going to take a look at a sample problem that actually comes from the Sanderson Test Prep SAT workbook. So if you don't have access to that workbook, then you'll see the problem up on the board here and we'll fill in the information as we go. If you do have access to it, congrats. That means you're enrolled in a Sanderson Test Prep class, so good for you. Alright, so in this question, they tell us that this parabola, which we see here, intersects the x-axis at x equals -1, which means that this point here is -1, 0, and at x equals k, which means that this point here is k, comma 0. We know that the values that they give us for x go first because your coordinates are always written x, comma y, and we know that the value of y is 0 because anywhere along the x-axis your y value is 0. You haven't gone up or down any, so you're right at that 0 point in terms of your vertical y value. Now they also, in this same problem, tell us that the vertex of this parabola is 3, -4. So we can fill in that coordinate as well, 3, -4. So we have these 3 points, and the question is asking us to find the value of k. Conceptually here, there's one really important thing that we have to know for this problem, and that is that in order to find the vertex of a parabola, your vertex is always going to be exactly in the middle. In fact, there's something that passes through a parabola that's called the axis of symmetry. That's not something the SAT tests, but it is something that you might remember just from an Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 course that you've taken. Your parabolas are going to have an axis of symmetry that run right down the middle of the parabola. The parabola essentially acts as a mirror on either side of that axis of symmetry. So if we look at each of these x-coordinates, -1, k, and 3, which is in the middle, then we can solve for the value of k. 3 is in the middle of -1 and k, or another way of phrasing that is that 3 is the average of -1 and k. And you can do that in a few different ways. You can simply count off units. So from 3 to get to -1, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left, which means k must be 4 units to the right of 3, which would give us a value of k equals 7. Now if you want to see that calculated with more of an equation rather than having to count it off on your graph, you can also find the average between -1 and k and set that equal to 3. -1 plus k divided by 2 equals 3. This is the equation form of finding the average. Add them up, divide by the number, and that gives you your average. So here, when we multiply both sides by 2, -1 plus k equals 6. Whoops. And then when we add 1 to the other side, we get k equals 7 in equation form. So whether you count off the appropriate number of units or whether you solve it with an equation, either way, the concept that we want to make sure that we know for this problem is that whenever you're dealing with parabolas, the vertex is going to serve as the middle of your parabola. Your parabola will be symmetrical on either side of that vertex. For more, please feel free to watch our other videos, and thanks for watching.